button to door automatic. Mr. Right button to door automatic.
Name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty.
Good evening, my little tubs of custard. And I don't mind admitting, I am excited as a man with 4 nipples and 3 buttocks to be here tonight with you, you lovely, gorgeous, amazing people that I just want to rub up and down and tickle you until you wet yourselves. Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Tuesday Night Live with me, as usual, coming live into your eyes and ears, direct from Windy Bottom here in the Peak District National Park, where it's still a bit bloody damp and a bit bloody parky, to be honest with you. Now, I am feeling especially proud this evening, and quite naturally I want to share that with you. I won a competition tonight at work. I won the How Many Poppadoms competition. Now, the How Many Poppadoms competition means that you have to sing how many poppadoms, 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 how many and you have to keep doing that with one breath. You're not allowed to breathe. And then the rest of the staff, we were unexpectedly busy tonight, and the rest of the staff count how many poppadoms you managed to do, and we all take turns doing it. And I won with a record-breaking 27 how many poppadoms in one breath, which just goes to show what a big puff I am. I'm full of puff. What, I should say so. So, we're here together again Tuesday night, and that's wonderful. So, obviously, I want to hear about how your day's been. I want to know what you've eaten today. And we'll come up with some other exciting features. Quite naturally, it goes without saying that I need you amazing people to name tonight's live stream for me. Make it short enough to fit, make it pithy, make it weird. Most of all, make it amusing. I would like to hear any gossip that you've got. And, I wouldn't mind hearing some humble brags. If you've got any humble brags or weird little victories that don't really mean anything but mean a lot to you, I'd like to hear about those as well. So let's crack on with the mainstream of this evening's symposium, shall we? And let's welcome the people who have graced not only me, but also you with their wonderful presence. I'll just have a slurp of this, if you don't mind. Cheers, your very good health, my loves. It's lovely to be back with you again. Oh, that really is very nice. Now, Jaden of the YouTube channel Everything Cars is with us and says, evening everyone, how's things? Plural, thank you. Plurals are important, or at least they can be. Simon of the YouTube channel Smashing Pistons. Oh yes. Simon of Smashing Pistons is here with us and says, greetings, people of the... Oh, fudge it. Hi. And then goes on to say, hopefully I won't fall asleep this time. Yeah, we guessed you fell asleep, mate. You were missed. Oh, and Simon is going to weigh straight in and favour us with a haiku. It is true in life, death comes to visit us all, unless we're zombies. And those are very wise words there. Is there no messages, or is my feed broken? Well, there are some messages. I can't account for the brokenness or otherwise of your feed. Steakholg is here and says, staying alive. Good evening to you, sir. Bad Books is here, says good evening all. Barry, that guy from City Alpha 5, is here and says, hello, sir. Hello to you, sir. I can't stay too long tonight as have visitors. Have a good one, everyone. Oh, that's very kind. Simon says good evening to everyone. Liz is here, Jabberwocky 220 GTI, and says, oh, good, I got here just in time. The intro music is still on. Jolly good. Mike is here, Classic Wheels Wales. Who says good evening, Jason, and evening, humans? Liz is saying hello to her. Yay, Liz is here, says Simon. That's rather nice. Oh, excuse me. The shine of that clean Denby wear, says Liz, is blinding. But she would pronounce it blinding. It is clean. When did I clean it? I cleaned it on Sunday's live stream, didn't I? Yes, of course I did. Diddly-do. Oh, good. Liz is doing okay. A few steps forward and a few back. Yeah, we all know how that goes. A name for the live stream, says Simon, Dave. And then Simon says humble brags. Yeah, I would like to hear your humble brags, if you've got any. Stephen S. Ford is here and says, big deal. I've already been dead twice before. You mentioned that before, actually. Good evening, children. A humble brag from Bad Books. Saw my first urban fox. Good God, you've never seen an urban fox before. I've seen thousands of them. Saw my first urban fox cross the road tonight. He then cocked his leg up the nearest lamppost, very relaxed. The lovely Sophie Richardson is here and says, hi, Boaty. Hello to you, my lovely. And Neil is here as well. Hello all from the AA van. Oh, are you at work, mate? Oh, right. It's another night. If you didn't know, Neil is a very clever mechanic type chap. And he actually works as an AA patrolman, the 4th emergency service. And by all accounts, he's a very nice one. He's certainly a very nice chap and incredibly helpful. So I'm sure that carries through to his work as well. So hope you're having a good shift, mate. Thank you for checking in. And Liz said, Trace, yes, I was excited about the music. But no, I haven't got you muddled up. I haven't got you and Trace muddled up. I know you both love the intro tune. He's at it again, says Trace. Although we do both have a fabulous chest. So that would be what... Well, hang on. How did boobs suddenly come into the equation? I haven't mentioned boobs. I mentioned them in the Facebook group earlier because I worked out this afternoon. I've been jolly productive today. I got all sorts of things done early doors. And that left me time to do some nonsense, to spam my own Facebook group with questions designed to help us get to know each other better on our mission, as discussed last night, to turn our lovely Facebook group into a wonderful community area where we can all hang out in safety and a nice environment, and it's just a lovely community asset that's there for us all. And, you know, which we are going to develop into a nice space where we really know each other and we really hang out with each other. So, yeah, you look blurry on camera, Boaty, says Sophie. Do I really? You look as if you're very slightly on the wonk. Would you like me to give you a wipe? I'm perfectly happy to wipe you. Let's have a look. Let me have a look on mine. Do you look blurry? I don't look blurry. No, I don't look blurry to myself. I mean, I'll wipe you just in case. See if that helps. There you go. Consider yourself wiped. The internet might be a bit dodgy tonight. It might not be a very good internet connection. That could be it. A humble brag for someone else, says Liz. An injector died on my 75 Tourer, which is a jolly nice car. Rang Retro Sports, and it was replaced in 18 hours from initial call. That's pretty excellent service. Simon asks, how does the Facebook monetization work? Well, it works in a variety of ways, Simon, which are really kind of too lengthy for me to go into on a live. Basically, you need to have a Facebook business page. That Facebook business page, to hit different levels of monetization, needs to tick different boxes. So I think the basic box is you've got to have 1,000 active followers to your Facebook page. Was it 1,000? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 1,000 because I thought that was unusually low, unusually easy to hit. My Boaty's World Facebook page hit 1,000 followers in about 3 weeks, I think. And I think we're on, what are we on now? About 3,000 at the moment. But then there are different steps up from that. And then you can monetize in various ways. It's actually very, very similar to YouTube. Same sort of model. There's potential advertising revenue. There's potential fan funding. Facebook do it with a star system. So, you know, if you put up videos on your Facebook page, then your followers or your fans or your community or whatever can send stars, which obviously they pay for, and which then turn into income for you. It's just another form of fan funding, basically, like a super chat or a super thanks or a channel membership. But unlike YouTube, there are, for the different areas or types of monetization, there are different steps that you have to hit. So obviously on YouTube, it's number of subscribers and number of watch hours. So in other words, it's trying to make sure that the channel is active. And it's the same sort of thing on Facebook. So obviously, if you're talking about ad revenue and people are going to advertise with you, then it needs to be an active channel or an active Facebook page. So there are things in place to ensure that to achieve monetization, you are exactly that. So you have to have certain numbers of followers. They have to be active. The page has to be active. You have to get a certain reach on your posts. All of that sort of thing. It wasn't that complex to begin with. When I first monetized Facebook, it was very straightforward. It was like YouTube. There was just one parameter to hit, which was the 1,000 followers. And then that opened up the monetization. Now it is a lot more intricate and complex. Obviously I'm surprised actually. I'm surprised that more YouTube channels don't work harder on their Facebook pages. If you look at the big old channels, you know, that have got upwards of 80,000 YouTube subscribers, they've got fewer Facebook subscribers than I have, and I'm tiny. My thinking would be is that if you're trying to make a living from this, then you wouldn't ignore any area of potential income. And Facebook is an area of potential income. But I've noticed that the other channels, they seem to do YouTube and Twitter, and they seem to largely ignore Facebook, whereas for me, Facebook is always my first port of call. One area where I am disappointed with Facebook is I worked for quite a few years with, I was talking about this last night, I worked with Facebook on their Power Admin program in the UK, and I worked with Facebook on their European Learning Lab, which was based in Germany, but which covered the UK. And via my own Facebook network, I used to beta test certain features, but I also used to, with other people, suggest other features which we would then trial. And the one that I was really pushing for was, and I pushed for it for years with Facebook, was a subscription model on Facebook groups. because I was very keen to monetize aspects of singles, but to monetize the group rather than the page. So I wanted a subscription model, and they introduced it, but they introduced it in the US. So within your group, you had the ability to have subgroups, and those subgroups could be monetized. In other words, people had to pay to be a member of the subgroup. You couldn't monetize the group as a whole, but you could have subgroups within your main groups, like a VIP area or something, if you will. A bit like the channel membership idea on YouTube. And to the best of my knowledge, that model, although we did beta test it for the American market, it hasn't come into Europe, or it certainly hasn't come into the UK. And that was the thing that I was pushing for most of all. To be completely honest with you, if I was going to look at making my living from monetizing online content, then my first choice would always be to do it on the Facebook platform, rather than on YouTube or anywhere else. I'm the most conversant with Facebook. I'm the most familiar with Facebook. I've been doing like professional and commercial stuff on Facebook since 2008. So, you know, you would hope that I've got a little bit of a clue about what I was doing by now. Whereas with YouTube, I didn't have a bloody clue. And of course, Facebook also plays to my strengths, because I work best in the written word, and I always have done. And Facebook can be, or more often is, predominantly about and around the written word, whereas YouTube, of course, is absolutely not. YouTube is all about the video content, and that really doesn't play to my strengths at all. So yeah, Facebook would have always been my first choice, and still would be. But again, monetizing a Facebook page is very different to having a successful Facebook group, and it requires a whole different set of skills. You're working with different algorithms, and you need to create an entirely different dynamic. And I can do Facebook pages. I run my own pages. I also run company pages, and you know, I know what I'm doing. I can do it, and I can do it reasonably successfully. I can build a page really quite well, but I don't enjoy doing it. I get virtually no pleasure out of doing it, and therefore I'm very seldom inclined to do it, because it's a very commercial and impersonal aspect of social media. And whilst that is in many parts my background, it's not my passion. My passion is completely the opposite, a very personal form of social media interaction. And that, of course, is what you can engender within and on the Facebook community platform. And that's what I've always loved. I started my first Facebook community right back as soon as I joined in 2008. And obviously I've built various communities in the time since then, some of which were, you know, really quite large, and which for quite a few years were really rather successful. Whereas the pages, I view more as a necessary evil. I don't enjoy them. I don't get the same satisfaction out of them. I like being me and interacting with people. I don't want to be a page. I don't want to be a corporate entity, if you like. That I can do it, but it doesn't suit me. And as I say, I just get no satisfaction from it. And of course, since I was taken poor and since my divorce, then I've not been driven by money. I only want to do what gives me pleasure, and I don't really give that much of a hoot about whether that actually pays well or not. And that must be true because I'm living in abject poverty when I needn't be, to be completely honest with you. If I'm totally open and totally honest, I would have to admit that living in poverty or near poverty, or certainly living hand to mouth and day by day, and having periods where I've gone without eating for 4 days, that's actually a choice, which is a weird thing to admit, because I didn't want to go back to chasing the almighty dollar or pound sterling. I found that life was much more pleasant if I did what gave me pleasure and if I tried to make just a little bit of a difference for other people. And I discovered that that was more important than gain of wealth or success or anything. And I've said it before, that might not have been the case had I not already had, some level of wealth and success. Because there's always going to be that grass is always greener on the other side thing. But if you've been on the other side and you've lain on the green grass and you know what it's like, then you know what you're missing or not missing if you choose to obviate that from your personal realm or sphere of day-to-day interest. I can definitively say that I move away from that, and I eschew that on a basis of knowledge of what that actually is, rather than an implied subjective viewpoint of what I consider that it could be, which would almost certainly, I think that when you consider the grass on the other side and its greenness and its increased greenness over the grass on your side, then I think that you automatically view it through rose-tinted spectacles. In other words, your imagination will tell you that the grass is going to be greener than it actually would be if you got there. But that was a long answer to a relatively simple question, wasn't it? Right, let's go back to some comments, shall we? Where are we? Diddly-do. Oh, we did the fox, didn't we? Yes, we did the old AA van and diddly-do, diddly-do, diddly-do. Oh, Tracy's laughing her bottom off and says, Liz, he's at it again. Oh no, I read that one. That's when you talked about your chest and the blurry on the camera and I wiped you. I did the humble brag. Oh, and then we got on to that. Right, jolly good. Oh, and apparently the wiping paid off and it's all got... You're on the bloody wonk. You are. You're pretending not to be, but you are very slightly on a horizontal wonk. I know I'm going to over-wonk you. I bet I've over-wonked you. How's it looking from your side? Oh God, you're about half a degree over-wonked. And if I wonk you back, I'm only going to wonk you back to where you were before, aren't I? Let's have another look at that. Oh my God, that's awful. Oh, what was I thinking? You know what, when I get you properly, oh, for God's sake, I need to put super glue on this. I need to get you on Sonia in the right position and then just super glue you there. I'm so sorry. That'll do. I'm happy with that. Look, even the top of the door looks unwonked. Right, let's go with that. Come on, let's smash this. We can do this together, darlings. You and me. We are unstoppable. We can contemplate the ineffable and see if we can damn well F it. Oh, I feel quite invigorated after that. Humble brag, says Simon. Now then, no. Right, okay. Oh, right, well, Mike's buggering off. Good night, Jason. Good night, humans. Be nice, early start tomorrow. Yeah, Mike does have an early start. Now, I launched some community chats today from the Facebook group. Do please feel free to use them. Now, there's a general chat where you can generally chat, I suppose. And then I've started a chat for potential meets. So anybody interested in trying to set up or arranging or discussing, you fat idiot, discussing a potential community meet, there's a chat for you now where you can do it. And I was thinking today, do you remember I suggested meeting for breakfast at that place up on Ola Bar one weekend and then going for a drive? I really fancy that. I really fancy that. And I fancy doing it quite soon, as in, you know, at the beginning of August, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday morning, potentially in the newest member of my fleet. No, but seriously, I really fancy that. So I'll mention that in chat if anybody's up for it. And if you can think of any other chats that I should launch for the community, then do shout them out and I will do it. I mean, I did think about setting up a dogging chat, but I thought people wouldn't get the joke and I'd get banned from Facebook. Liz says, nah, Tracy's scared of fabulous chests. I am. I mean, you know, no disrespect to you ladies with your own fabulous chests or ladies everywhere with fabulous chests, but I'm scared of them. They intimidate me. And let's make no bones about this. This is a reflection on me as a man, not on you as a woman with a fabulous chest. I'm intimidated by them because I am a lesser man. They make me, or they remind me, that I am not man enough to deal with what a real man would be able to deal with. And yeah, I feel very intimidated by them. And my initial instinct is always to run away. But please don't take that personally. It genuinely is just a reflection on that when it comes to, if you imagine the Rover trim levels of men, then I reckon I would be a club SE. So I'd be like the bottom of the range. I'd be a club, but I'd be the SE version of the club. So I'd be the bottom of the range, but with a couple of nicer bits, a couple of little toys. But basically, bottom of the range. Not bottom, but like one rung off bottom of the range. Oh, feature number 6. I'll just pick a number at random there. If you had to categorise me by a Rover trim level, i.e. club, club SE, classic, classic SE. Oh, that might actually be the other way around. Maybe I'd be classic SE or connoisseur or whatever. How would you categorise me? And how would you categorise yourself? Liz, would you be a monogram? Who would be brave enough to categorise themselves as a V8 monogram? I would genuinely, I would categorise Liz as a V8 monogram. She's a very nice lady and a very kind lady and a very intelligent lady and actually a very impressive lady. I'm very impressed by Liz, and I have a lot of respect for her. And I also like her very much as a person, and I enjoy her company. So I would definitely put Liz as an MG ZT 260 in monogram. Now then, stick that into your bra and smoke it. Simon asked Sophie, did you all enjoy your kebabs? Well, you will see there are videos coming out beginning tomorrow. But I think we all enjoyed our kebabs. I certainly enjoyed mine. Soph had the same as me. Mustard for some ungodly... I mean, I don't get it with mustard, right? You go to a place that serves nice food, and it does. It's cheap. It's stupidly cheap if you're used to prices outside of Rochdale. But it's good grub. It's really good food. It's freshly made. And it's nice. I enjoy it. I wouldn't eat there if I didn't enjoy it. And yet, with all of that wonderful food on offer, mustard goes for what they call keema peas. Now, keema is just the word in many Asian languages for mince. So basically, mustard goes to this nice place and he has mincemeat and peas. Why? What? I mean, that's the sort of crap your grandmother used to give you when she was looking after you after school because your parents were at work. And you think, oh God, I don't want to eat this. It's mincemeat and peas, for Christ's sake. That's not food. Mustard pays for that more Mondays than not. And I genuinely don't get it. I mean, why not have something nice that costs the same amount of money? Mincemeat and peas. Jesus. I mean, that's not even a Fray Bentos pie. You don't even get the lovely soggy... Oh, I really want a Fray Bentos pie. We talked about those a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And I've not had one. That's going on my list. I'm going to have a Fray Bentos pie. I might have one next Monday. I've got an acquisition adventure next Monday, and I might, as a special treat, I might have a Fray Bentos pie for supper. Or if not for supper, then for lunch on the Tuesday after. Sorry guys, says Simon. I've sent him down a bland Facebook path. Wasn't bland at all, it was very interesting. Sophie says, yeah, I had chicken with chips and salad, same as Boaty. I was so full up. You didn't have chicken, Soph, you had kebida, which is lamb, I think, or a blend of chicken and lamb. Yeah, you had kebida, which is an Iranian kebab. It's a form of sheep kebab. If you remember, when I say sheep kebab, you will think of the red sheep kebab that you get in Indian takeaways. But in actual fact, a sheik is a long metal skewer. And kebab is just meat, you know, compacted. And so anything that is cooked on a sheik in kebab form is technically a sheik kebab. And kebida is a form of sheik kebab, in that it's cooked in the clay tandoor oven on a sheik, on a long metal skewer. So I love making sheik kebab. It's amazing. And it's ever so easy to make. You can actually do it at home. And all you need to do, dead easy, honestly, is make the keema or the mince of your choice. Could be any meat you like. Add in the spices of your choice and the herbs of your choice, right? Mix them all together, right? You'll need a mincing machine to make the mince, obviously. But if you haven't got a mincing machine, buy ready minced mince. Buy the good stuff. Buy the 5% fat. But ideally, make your own mince. Then you know what's going into it. Add in your spices. Add in your herbs. You don't need a mincer for that. Get your hands dirty. Right? Make it. Let it prove, bung it in the fridge for 6 hours or a while anyway. And then I do this over the sink at work. We've got a draining rack over the sink, and the sheiks have got a hook on them. So you hook the sheik onto the draining rack over the sink, and then you take your keema and you just grab it in your hands and you plonk it onto the sheik, and then, as if you were milking a cow, you just form it into the shape like that. And then with wet hands, put a bit of water on your hands so that the mixture doesn't stick. And you literally just form it until it's nice and even on your sheik, and then you just bang it in the tandoor. Or if you're doing it at home, then do smaller ones, do it on smaller skewers, and just put a roasting tin in your oven, and then crosswise put your kebabs on skewers over the roasting tin. And that will mean that the kebabs will cook nicely. The roasting tin will catch any drip so that your oven doesn't get dirty. You know, turn them every now and then, and you'll find that it's absolutely delicious and works out really, really cheaply to make. Make them in bulk. When you finish them, just using a cloth or something, because they'll be hot, slide them off the skewer. Do it while they're still hot. Don't leave the skewer to cool. Just slide them off onto a chopping board, cut them into the appropriate size, cool them in the fridge, and then freeze them. And then you can just take them out of the freezer, defrost them, and nuke them in the microwave, and they'll be good as new. So you can have a lovely stock of kebabs ready to go in your freezer. It's a really good thing to do. But yeah, that's what Soph and I had. We had kabida, an Iranian form of sheik kebab, which, because we had it with chips and salad, they take off the sheik and slice, so it's sliced up. Whereas Neil also had a kabida, but he had his in a naan, so they leave it whole, and it's like a foot-long hot dog served in the naan bread. Absolutely lovely. What got you interested in Rovers, Boaty? Asked Jaden. I'll whiz through some comments, mate, and then I'll come back to that, because that one could go on for a few minutes as well. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, we got loads of time. Real good. Oh, Alan Jones is here and says, good evening, Mr. Boaty. Good evening to you. Is this a Facebook humble brag narrative? I'll take that, Liz. Yeah, it did turn into one. Guilty as charged. Tonight's Boaty is brought to you by the song chorus, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, Faithless Insomnia. Now, that's one of those annoying song titles, isn't it? Because, of course, I can't get no satisfaction is a double negative, and actually means I can get satisfaction. Thank you very much. And I enjoy that satisfaction. So that is a really annoying song title. And some song titles and some song lyrics really annoy me. Like Paul McCartney's James Bond song. What was it? Live and Let Die. And how did it go? But in this crazy world in which we live in, right, that's tautology. Shouldn't be allowed. And the other one that always gets me is Mike Oldfield's Moonlight Shadow. 5 a.m. in the morning. There's a lyric, 5 a.m. in the morning. Right, if it's 5 a.m., it's in the morning. So it can be 5 a.m. or it can be 5 in the morning. But if it's 5 a.m. in the morning, that's tautology. And tautology really annoys me. And I wish they'd stop it. And double negatives really annoy me as well. My children could spot a double negative from 100 million miles away because I drummed it into them. Neil says, I learned that a long time working your backside off, doing 7 days a week, every week, having a lot of disposable money is lovely, but quality time with people and family is time money can't buy. And I would absolutely agree with you, Neil. And if you've learned that at your young age, because I don't think I'm giving away any secrets when I tell you that both Neil and his lovely other half, Sophie, are basically fetuses. They're 25 years old. I've got underwear older than that. So if you've learned that lesson now, then, you know, count yourself a clever and lucky man, Neil, because I didn't learn that lesson until I was in my 40s, and that is to my detriment. If you've learned it early and learned it young, then you will be set for a happy and fulfilled life for a longer period than I will get, and I'm genuinely pleased for you. So yeah, well done you. Oh, and Liz totally agrees with Neil, as does Simon. Although Simon would like to get enough money to get this 200 sorted at some point this year. And of course there he's talking about his most recent project, which I believe is called Jennifer Juniper. See, I do pay attention. That's right, isn't it? It is. Go on, admit it. It's right. I do watch your people videos, you know. I'm not like Mustard. I don't set myself apart. I watch and enjoy your content and reflect on how much better it is than mine a lot of the time. I watched, I don't think they come to the live streams now. It was a short-lived thing, Mark on Motoring and 00 Garage. But I watched one of Mark on Motoring's the other night, and my God, that man, great production values and very, very well researched. Very well researched indeed. Trey says it's like being on a boat. Wonk, 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 says Stephen S. Paul. Will too much wonking affect my sight? Asks Liz. Well, stands a chance. Potential meats? Alligator could be one. Oh, right, yeah. Sophie and Neil are up for it. I'm not sure what they're up for. I obviously suggested something, and I can't remember what. But whatever it was, they're up for it, so that's good. Long time since I had alligator, says Liz, and chips, very tasty too. I've never eaten alligator. I've eaten a lot of weird things. I ate an emu that really annoyed me. When I was living with Lisa between Exeter and Pavolia in Cyprus, one of our friends had an emu farm just down the road near Exeter. And we went there one night, and you know, I was told you have to do the thing. You put your hand up there, making a beak, so that you're the biggest, so that you're the alpha emu. And this one had a right go at me, and we were having an emu roast. And I said, "Cook that fucker first, that aggressive bastard." And he did, and I ate him. So that taught him a lesson, didn't it? I've eaten snake. I've eaten. I've eaten crocodile actually, but I don't think I've eaten alligator. Alligator and chips, my good man, and make it snappy. That's the old. Liz says, Boaty, going along, how would you categorise in? You'd be a long wheelbase. Yeah, well, I could take that in a variety of ways, couldn't I? I'm going to take it as a compliment, though it probably wasn't meant as one. Yeah, the long wheelbase, the limousine. Mustard's tested one of those. I've never even seen one. Simon says, I think I'd be a V6 monogram ZTT. and then adds, oh, and that's my humble brag. Black Lions is here and says, evening all. Oh, bless you. Liz says, thank you, Boaty. Nice words and unexpected. I mean it, Liz. I genuinely enjoy your company. I find you amusing, really interesting, and above all, insightful and passionate. And I will listen to anybody who's passionate about anything. It doesn't matter whether I've got an interest in that subject. Passion, if you have a certain type of mind, passion is intoxicating. Other people's passion is intoxicating. And I will listen to anybody talk about what they're passionate about. And maybe I assume that other people will too, and maybe I assume that wrongly. So when I bang on about my folders and my keyring reorganisation, and my keyring reorganisation is into double figures of hours. So I've got to make room for a new set of keys, and I've got to swap key rings about, and it's caused me bum swizzlement and discombobulation, to be honest. But yeah, and you can't help but hold Liz in absolute respect for what she's done professionally and what she continues to do professionally and academically. And as somebody of kind of the same vintage as Liz, I think she's a bit younger than me, to be honest, but we're about the same. Then I know how difficult it is to do very I can't think of the right word, but involved academia when you get older, I think is more difficult. It's a bit like languages, like I was talking about the other night. When you're younger, your brain is like a sponge and you don't have to work to absorb things. And that's true of any academia as it is of language. When you get older, you have to work harder to get it in there. And quite frankly, darlings, I can't be asked. I am working and will continue to work for the rest of my life on what little knowledge I've managed to accrue over the first 40 years of my life, whereas Liz is moving forward all the time and is accruing. I mean, she's got more degrees than a thermometer. I got all of my degrees out of the way when I was in my early to mid 20s, and haven't done anything academic since, other than some legal research for professional reasons. But I've swerved it, and I couldn't do it in a million years now. Now, when I was married, and in the years immediately before the divorce and whatnot, then Maggie, my wife, my now ex-wife, Maggie did her PhD, and I tried to help. She asked me to help, and I did try, and I found it difficult. Whereas when I was in my 20s or even my 30s, then it would have been an absolute piece of piss, if you'll forgive the language. And then the same thing happened with Chinese Madam. Obviously, I met Chinese Madam at the point where she'd just finished her master's and was moving on to her PhD. And again, she asked me to become involved with her PhD work. And I found that quite difficult as well. My brain simply wasn't in that state of tune. So I have nothing but admiration and respect for Liz, who is still continuing to go down that route. And even when she's finished her current academic journey, is planning to immediately start another one. So chapeau. I hope Mustard didn't have chickpea curry again. No, he had bloody minced meat and peas. Ross is here, Dinosaur Dad. Hi all, how are we? Whatever car I am, says Black Lines, I'd have no MOT and a slightly musty aroma in the back. Peas are of the devil, says Trace. I wouldn't eat them if it was keema dal or chana keema or similar, but not if... Oh, sorry. I would eat it if it was keema dal or chana dal or chana keema or similar, but not peas. Quite right. Have you tried Istanbul keema peas, Boaty? It's really nice and very spicy. Well, no, obviously I haven't, no. Because it's minced meat and peas. I don't care how bloody spicy it is. It's minced meat and peas. I'm not eating that. It's basically a pot noodle. That's what it is. Bloody hell. I mean, I wouldn't eat it if it was prison food and I needed it to live. I'm buggered if I'm going to pay £5 for a portion of it. Well, not in a million years. Oh, don't worry, Soph. Mustard doesn't know how to spell Kabida. He doesn't actually know that it's called Kabida. When he wants Kabida and chips, he waits until I order it and says, yeah, I'll have the same as him. Freight Bentos pie will cost a fortune these days, says Bad Books. Probably, yeah, I'll shoplift it. I won't. That's a joke. God. Yeah, I imagine they are quite expensive. But sod it. Next week, right, this is a Boaty guarantee. Next week on either Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to have a Freight Bentos pie and I'm going to film it and I'm going to love it. Yeah, baby. This is making me hungry again, damn it, says Simon. Talking of pies, where is Matt? A bit slack for an intern this evening, says Bad Books. I suspect Matt... I think Matt was offered a better position with Rob and Simon, because he has been somewhat AWOL of late, but he has been carrying out duties in person and out in the field with Simon and Rob, which is probably a much better gig for him. And the wonderful Trace seems to have taken on the duties of being my unpaid intern. She has very much stepped into the breach, for which I'm very grateful, especially when it comes to the clips and the shorts, Trace. You're a genius at that. Please, please, please keep doing it. Keep doing it. And I'll do something nice for you. I'll cook you momos when we eventually meet, or I'll... I was going to say I'll come on your live stream as a guest, but that might not be a nice thing. It might be the death knell for your live stream career. Oh, that's very cold. I really must get there, Liz, says Trace. It's such a random thing to have on my to-do list, seeing as there are many similar food places in the UK, but Istanbul does look good. It really is. It really is, actually. And yeah, you should. Trace, just have a mad moment. Just come up to the Peak District or the Pennines. And you can do it on the cheap, you and your old man. You've got a guest suite here. You basically just shove a bit of petrol in, come up for a couple of nights, and have a laugh. Come up to the yard on a Monday. Spend the day on a Monday, go back home on a Tuesday. Oh, Blackline says, Simon, I'm fasting at the moment to lose some weight. No eating on the evenings. Shut up, Boaty. Sorry. Maybe there should be a community meetup at the yard one Monday. They might even deliver as well. They do, but going to get it is part of the adventure. I incorporate it into the lunch videos now. Part 1 is now and always will be Mustard and Boaty do lunch with Sophie and Neil. Part 1, collection. That's going to be tomorrow's video. And going to get it and bringing it back is going to be the first part of the lunch video, now that the lunch video go into several parts rather than giving you all a 2-hour video to try and work through. And that then frees me up to do my daily diaries, which I'm genuinely really enjoying. And I hope you're enjoying them as well, especially the channel members who actually get to see them on a daily basis. And it's great, it means I can react to stuff like Dick Dastardly, the wonderful Dick Dastardly, said on my Boaties and Noshes video, it's about time he did a Boaty in the kitchen. And I thought, yeah, you're right, it is. I haven't done one for ages. You know, some of my regular dishes, I've kind of updated them or tweaked them. And one of the Boaties in the kitchen that I did was the making the noodle or chow mein or whatever you want to call it meal for less than £1. And I do that in a different way now than I used to. And so I thought, yeah, I'll do it. So I did. I got my tripod out. I didn't, not the full video, but for today's daily diary, I did do a cooking video. And hopefully it might be of use to some of you, you know, to show you how, even if you can't cook, then using a bit of a cheap method, for less than £1, so less than any ready meal you care to mention, or any supermarket sandwich that you care to mention, for less than £1 and in less than 5 minutes, you can knock up an absolutely lovely dish. I loved my lunch today. It was brilliant. And it took me about 4.5 minutes and cost about 70p. Beat that. So that will be on tomorrow's Daily Diary video for you channel members, and it will also be there for the rest of you, but not until next Tuesday, I'm afraid. But hey ho. But I love the idea of a community meet at the yard. That would be absolutely great. I love the idea of a community meet here as well, to be honest. I still love my idea of having Sunday lunches at the pub over there next to Ignition Cars and Coffee. I'm not going to forget about that, and I'm going to keep pushing those every now and then. Maybe when I've grown a bit and there's more of a pool of people. And I love the idea of meeting for breakfast at the Moorlands up on Ola Bar. And I'm going to suggest that for August. And even if none of you turn up, I'll go and do it on my own. Sod you. The front of house guy is very taciturn, says Liz, talking about Istanbul, aka grumpy to the point of ignoring customers. I think it's just, yeah, I can see why you say that, Liz. Quite honestly, given that I work with people, I think that he's a little bit shy and a little bit language barrier kind of thing, because I understand enough of Hindi and whatnot to see that he is different when he's speaking to people who speak his own language. But yeah, he does come across a bit like that. Now, if you've gone to the International Chippy Liz, then there's a guy there who's my favourite guy in the whole world. That's why I like going to the International Chippy. Their chips are the best I've ever tasted anywhere in the world. Their doner kebab is amazing. But there's a big fat guy there with a centre parting that looks like it's a joke centre parting, but it's not. He's enormous, and he's got this centre parting. And he's the happiest guy that I've ever seen. And my mood and my heart lifts whenever I see him. And I started talking to him. We don't go there often enough. I'd want to go there every week, not Istanbul. Partly because Mustard likes going to Istanbul because he likes the curry and whatnot. And he can't make that sort of curry, or, well, maybe he can now, but that's what he likes. I eat that stuff every day, and it's a million miles better. I won't eat a curry from Istanbul because I can just look at it and see that, nope, absolutely not. I can see how they make it. I can see that it's swimming in ghee. I don't know how Mustard eats it. And if he's put on weight, then I can bloody see why. Because their curries, or all of their curry derivatives, oh God, I mean, Mustard actually spoons the fat off, the ghee off the top of it. No, I can't do that. We make healthy food at my restaurant. We don't use ghee. Everything that we make is low or zero cholesterol, low or zero fat. We trim all of the fat off all of the meat that we use. Not an ounce of fat on any meat. Literally, all the meat that we use, we get the meat. It doesn't come butchered. We butcher it and we trim every little bit of fat off there. We don't use ghee in the curries. We don't use, we hardly use any oil at all. When we make staff curry, if we use a teaspoon of oil, good oil, healthy oil, then that's all that we use. So to see a curry that's swimming in ghee is just awful. I could never eat that in a million years. It'd be like going to a really bad Indian takeaway or Indian restaurant. And snobbish though it might sound, I've got used to better things. So I'm never going to eat that sort of thing in Istanbul. And so that limits my options somewhere. And as Monday is my one and only takeaway treat of the week, I would much rather go to International Chippy, where I can buy something that I can't or don't make myself. So I can have something a little bit exotic, or I can have kebab, I can have their amazing chips, which are just out of this world. And, you know, I can go down the kebab route, because they do all the kebabs and whatnot, but they also do, that's why they're called International Chippy, they also do all of the British stuff. So you can have pie, chips and curry sauce, but it will be better than any British chippy that you've ever been to. And I would love to go there every week, but Mustard always wants to go to Istanbul. You know, every now and then I get to go to International Chippy, but I'd go there all the time. Because when I want a treat, I want what I don't eat every day. And the Asian curry type food, I eat that every day. And I eat it a lot better than Istanbul make it. No offence to them. Their curries and their keema peas and their dal, it looks fucking awful. And Liz, I don't know how you and Mustard ate it. It looked dreadful to me. Sorry. But their kebab is superb, can't fault it. And their doner meat, their red doner kebab, is absolutely lovely as well. Ah, gosh. I'm going to swap my wines over. I've got 2 bottles on the go. And one of them is frozen, so I'll put that in the fridge. And one of them is not quite cold enough, so I'll put that in the freezer. Oh, food tonight, that reminds me. Food tonight is going to be a little bit different. I'm still unexpectedly busy tonight. I've still not been shopping properly. So tonight, Matthew, I didn't have it last week and I missed it. So tonight I'm going to make my Chinese style chicken curry with my lazuli chicken and lashings of chunky onion and some fried rice, which means that I'm going to have to actually cook rather than just warm up. Because when I have the curry from work, it's nice and easy. I've got the curry sauce comes from work or comes from the curry freezer. I've got rice. All I've got to do is get some of my chicken and some fresh tomato or whatever, bang it in the sauce, and then depending on whether the sauce comes in the freezer, frozen or fresh from work, then it's either nuked in the microwave or just warmed up on the hob. and the rice is microwaved. A bit of naan goes in the oven, again, all ready made, just warmed up. But when I have my Chinese chicken curry, as I'm going to have tonight, I've got to cook all of that, and I've got to make the fried rice, and so I'm looking forward to it though. Oh God, yeah, and I need to get the right. Oh God, look at the time, it's gone midnight. Nobody's named the stream. I haven't talked about any of the things that I planned to talk about. Time has just flown by tonight and I haven't shut up. And there's probably a load of comments giving me grief about that and I haven't read them yet. Come on, let's plough through the comments and let's get to bed, shall we? We can carry this on tomorrow. I've enjoyed tonight. Last night, I was so tired. I was so tired that I was actually lightheaded. You know when you get lightheaded and I kind of got a second wind, but I was so tired. Whereas tonight, had a good rest last night, bit of a line this morning. I'm on it. I'm ready for this. Where did I get to? Right. Okay. Gonna love a bit of tautology, says Liz. Songwriting would be poorer without it. I disagree. Tautology always annoys me. And then they're trying to wind me up by... Various people are winding me up 23:44 in the evening. Bollocks. Soph says, I hope he's watching, talking about Neil. He's working very hard. He does finish at 1 o'clock and he started at 3 o'clock this morning. Bloody hell. I've eaten snake, Boaty admitted to the chat. Yeah, not in a euphemistic sense there. Poor Emu. Rod Hull and Emu were great. Our dog is a lot like Emu, the little shit. Sod poor Emu, that one was an aggressive bugger. I was delighted to eat him. When you get older, says Simon, you have to work harder to get in there. And frankly, I can't be asked, he clarified. Oh, I see what you're doing there, Simon. Yes. Yeah, well, that's true as well, to be honest. I can't read that out, Black Lines. Oh, yes, the 80s, where kids' TV shows consisted of middle-aged men. And then I can't read those last three words. I've unhidden them though, so you can read them. Last night's live got bloody demonetized again. They're all getting demonetized. And I need to get into the habit. I mean, it doesn't matter at the moment because a live stream, if it's monetized, earns me about 3 pence. But imagine if I ever got successful and live streams earned me real money and then they got demonetized. I'd be really annoyed about it. So I have to learn to throttle back and try to be a little bit more YouTube friendly. They're all getting bloody demonetized now. So I'm not going to read out where Black Line says that 80s TV shows consisted of middle-aged men fisting large birds. He's talking about Emu. But YouTube won't know that. Trey says, thank you, Boaty. I love clips and shorts when they're taken from a long-form vid. I enjoy taking a moment in time and encapsulating it into a short clip. Much more interesting to me than deliberately filming a short. I 100% agree with you, Trace, and you inspired me to go marching through old videos to find material for shorts. And I found a few, but then I never get time. And you do it so much better than me. So, yeah, any time you feel inclined to do so, I would be incredibly grateful because yours are brilliant. Matt must be round at George Roger Boaty, says Bad Books. Yeah, Liz says, shall I come to PNHQ on Monday and ask for International Chippy? No, Liz, because I'm not going to be there on Monday. On Monday, I am off on an acquisition adventure to pick up the most recent and final addition to my fleet. At this time next Monday, my fleet will be complete. I'll probably still be stressing over the keyring and folder situation, but the fleet will actually be complete. And the acquisition part of this part of my, whatever you want to call it, car building career or YouTube bit, that will be finished. And after next Monday, the focus will move from periodic acquisitions and changes to just improve. The fleet will stay as it is. That's the plan. Because I'll be up to, on Monday, I'll be up to 7 cars plus my Arthur, which is obviously Derek at the moment. So 8 cars total, which is approximately 8 cars more than I can actually afford. So after next Monday, the focus is going to change to just maintaining and improving the fleet, enjoying them, and taking them to shows and stuff. And so yeah, so it's going to be a subtle change, but a marked change, and that is where the focus is going to be. So there won't be any more of, oh, I've got a new car, but this one is broken. It's going to be about, right, this is the fleet. I'm committed to them long term, and let's try and make them as beautiful as possible. And that was kind of the thinking with Derek, in that, and Derek coming back. The idea being that I have a car which is not a member of, in inverted commas, the fleet, and is a different colour to prove it. And that's like a separate entity. And I use that so that I'm not putting needless miles on any of the fleet members. The idea with them will be to keep the mileage down. You know, quite a few of them are low mileage, relatively low mileage, you know, 60,000 odd, which is not a lot for a 20-year-old car. And yeah, so, you know, why put needless miles on them? Why put needless wear on components that may well become increasingly difficult to obtain? For example, the car that I'm picking up on Monday, apparently you can't buy an exhaust for it. So you'd be pretty daft on that basis to stick a load of miles on it and use up, I mean, I don't know how putting miles on it uses up an exhaust, but it's obviously wear and tear, isn't it? So yeah, so that will be the plan for the fleet then, to just over a period of time to just improve them, well, maintain them first, so that each fleet member should be completely roadworthy, legal, and ready to just jump in and use. And then they should be improved. And, you know, they've all got room for improvement, God knows. They're all a long way from perfect. Some can be improved by actually improving them, the base of them. For example, you know, Shison and Brian would benefit greatly from new wings that were not rusty, and obviously Stigbürt needs his seat repair, and well, and so on and so forth. But they can also be improved in other ways, like those things I was showing you, those seatbelt things I was showing you endlessly last night. And again, this is in tomorrow's daily diary. I put those in Wetleg today. They look absolutely fantastic. And it's not just an aesthetic improvement, they improve the seatbelt. If you've ever owned or driven an MGF, getting hold of the seatbelt is a tricky task, and those things help it. What would help it even more would be the alloy things that clip onto the headrest and route the seatbelt literally over your seats. You can just grab it there. So there are improvements like that, and I keep being asked about this camping thing. Sophie and Neil were on about it on Monday. That will be the improvement with Boo. I want to get roof bars and a roof box and camping equipment in there. And I am going to do at least one overnight camp. Maybe more. I won't enjoy it. That's not a possibility. I'll hate every second of it. But if it makes good content, if it makes a good video, hell yeah, I'll do it again. Too right. You know, if I do a camping site on the first one and it gets good views, I'll do wild camping on the next one. I'll do the full blot. I'll camp outside a McDonald's drive-through and get drunk and abuse the late night McDonald's diners. Or scum, as they're alternatively known. Oh dear. Yeah, so Liz, no, don't come on Monday. Come a week on Monday and insist on the international chippy. We'll outvote Project Nigel. Yes, 2-1. I'm on board with that, but a week on Monday, not on Monday. Oh, Pingu's here. Pingu has returned from a period of time in the middle of a heat wave in Spain. And Pingu says, buttocks, Admiral of arse-wiping Boaty. Welcome back, Pingu. You have been missed, I can assure you. And I hope you had a fabulous time. And I hope it's something of a relief to be back in a much cooler UK than being stuck in the middle of a continental heat wave. Simon named the stream ages ago. Yeah, but he named it Bob or something. I'm not counting that. Trey says, title nom, Alligator and chips, my good man, and make it snappy. That'll do for me, unless we get a better one. That'll do for me. And that'll be 2 in a row that Simon has named. 2 minutes to midnight, says Stephen S. Paul. Shit, I'm 18 minutes behind with the comments. Sophie's off to bed. Good night, all. Sweet dreams. Good night, Boaty. Oh, did you do the pictures for me, please? No, I didn't. I forgot, Sophie. I'm so sorry. But I will do them tomorrow and ping them back to you. Trey says, Lala will defo wander through your older vids and clip up. Oh, you're a legend. Ben only just joined during the Milkston Road diatribe. So title, Internal one-all chippy to the rescue. Thunderbirds fans will get it. Yeah, I don't. And then says, greetings, fellow boatists. Hello, Ben. How are you, mate? Oh, and Ben is continuing to enjoy the daily epistles, by which he means the daily diaries. I'm really glad about that. Thank you. What about going to an auto jumble, says Simon, or suggests Simon? How about no? How about going to the pub, either for breakfast or a nice Sunday lunch? Auto jumble. Oh, going to an auto. Oh, unless going for something specific. Did I mention something specific? I've been to an auto jumble. I went to an auto jumble when I had the dealership and auction house, and I hated every second of it. But I suppose if you were looking for something, then Ben says condensation / short runs is what does for your pipes. Ideally, you need to drive until the back box is warmed up. I'll pipe down that. Well, I do that, Ben. When I turn the fleet's wheels over, I give them a very decent run. You know, I make sure that they are fully warmed up. And when they're fully, I don't just, when I say I know I say on videos I've taken them around the block, right? Now, I'm so sorry. If you live in a town or shitty, then round the block probably means a short distance. When I say round the block, then that's about 13 miles. So they get well and truly warmed up, everything gets warmed up, and I give them an Italian tune-up. Well, more than one. And I make sure that they all get the wheels turned over regularly, as I will continue to do. Yeah, it's not just a literal round the block. The engines get up to temp, the water gets up to temp, the oil gets up to temp. Once they're well and truly up to temp, then I give them the beans, and I enjoy them. And that's going to be the plan. They'll be used for shows and whatnot, and pleasure trips. None of them are going to be used for work type stuff. I'm committed to having a separate everyday Arthur Daily, and the fleet will be an entirely separate thing. And as I say, after next Monday, when as far as I'm concerned the fleet will be complete, it's going to be all about just improving them and maintaining them and future-proofing them as best as I can with no money. And enjoying them. Let's not forget that. Enjoying them. Sounds Vintage was here and says, bit late today. Hope you've all had fun this evening. Better late than never, sir. You're going to have to master oil changes and basic servicing to preserve the mechanical, says Bad Books. I agree. And that is one of the other plans, to get more hands-on with doing stuff and to learn how to do more stuff. I need to get hold of things like a trolley jack and some ramps and things like that. And I do plan to. I was discussing this with Mustard only the other day. I reckon Derek is getting ready for brake pads. There are signs, and I should be able to do brake pads. That's the sort of thing that somebody in my position should be able to do. Now, obviously I can't, but that is the kind of thing that I would like to work towards. So there'll be some amusing footage where Mustard teaches me to do stuff at Project Nigel. Don't tell Mustard, because space at the yard is premium, but I've got an idea. Obviously Brian is at the yard at the moment, and probably will be for a couple of weeks yet. I've got this idea that one of the fleet should be permanently at the yard, so that I can work on them with Mustard on a Monday or possibly on a Tuesday, because one of the other things, there's all the restaurant stuff going on as well. And we had a long discussion about this on Monday with me and Mustard and Neil and Sophie, and I would like to, at the very least, what I'd love to do would be to say, bugger everything else, I'm going to do a hub nut. I'm going to go both feet into the YouTube and wider thing and spend 6 months trying to make that work, as in make a living from it, a full-time living. But I can't do that. What I would like is to take a little step towards that and drop one night at the restaurant and have a Monday and a Tuesday. So 2 days, either 2 days at the yard, or 1 day at the yard and 1 day where I can do a road trip, or I can do some other stuff with some others of the cars. Basically 2 full YouTube days a week instead of just the one. But yeah, that was an idea of mine at the back of my mind. Have a card at PNHQ and just swap them over, and I can do the work there under Mustard's supervision and using his doings until I can get my own. And let him film it and have the content from it. Although that's another thing we discussed on Monday. Oh, I should be talking about this tomorrow, not now, because it's too late, isn't it? Remind me to talk tomorrow about what Mustard and I are thinking about doing with our joint content that isn't on my channel. Somebody remind me about that. Now let's get through these. Oh, everybody's glad to see Pingu. That's nice. Simon says you're going to start working on the cars yourself then? Yeah, that's the plan. Pingu says, I have many Boatysticious videos to catch up on. Bear with me. Are you still poor with many Rovers to fix? Yeah, of course. Of course I am, Pingu. I have caught up. I'm fully behind this Boaty does car stuff, says Simon, but I'll believe it when I see it. Well, kind of you and me both, but because I am genuinely hopeless. But that is the plan, and it's going to be partly out of necessity as well, or not. The other option is that I get really in with the guys down at Ladywood, and I do publicity for their garage, which I would do happily because I know them. I know the work that they do, and I know they are the best about. So I would very happily publicise them. And they work and they do my work for next to nothing. That would be the other option. But no, I watched a Formula One thing with Martin Brundle back when you could still watch that without paying for it. So we're going back a few years. And he said something along the lines that if you were, he was talking about his E-Type, and he was actually talking about just a simpler thing as shammying the car down. He was on the Yellow Tunnel and they'd driven through the rain. So while he was on the tunnel, he shammied it dry. And he said something along the lines of that you're not a real car enthusiast if you don't get properly hands-on with your car. And I think that's true. And I think that I should be able to do more than I actually can. And it'll be good content as well. So I definitely plan to try to learn to do more. And it's nearly midnight, and you guys should be in bed. Yeah, well, exactly, Ben. It could already be happening with BJ at the yard, except that what BJ needs at the moment is way, way, way beyond me. And it's actually beyond Mustard as well. That's why he had to go to the garage next door. It was a job that was, that really needed the garage guys. Simon says, I'll soon be free every Tuesday if you need me to persuade you to do stuff. Oh, that opens up some interesting possibilities, Simon. We'll have to have a chat about that because I'm kind of largely free on a Tuesday, even now. I'm free until 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, so that's kind of a whole day. So even now there's stuff that could be done and films that could be made and so on. And I need to catch up with you anyway, mate. You've made noises about selling Margaret and I want to know why. And you've done things to the lovely Henny to make her much nicer. And I'd like to catch up on those. Those wheels look amazing. And you've got the new project, Jennifer Juniper, and I don't know anything about that. I haven't actually seen you in person for ages. We should have lunch and a catch up, dear boy. And I should have supper and a sleep. And so should you people. I've really enjoyed tonight. You try maintaining 700 plus vehicles spread out over 2 states, says Stephen S. Paul. Well, obviously now. Right. Pingu's taking the piss here. Surely now you are more famous than the hairy Paddington. You should be doing well and have many groupies. Yeah, I'm so not more famous than the hairy Paddington. Mustard and I are still well aware of the pecking order. It's still him up here and me down here. Although I have predicted privately, and I'll now share it with you. Obviously, on one statistic, I have recently overtaken the hairy Paddington, and I confidently predict that the next statistic where I overtake Mustard will be the number of videos released. I don't know what mustard is at the moment, but it's not that long ago where he celebrated his 1000th video, right? Now, I am currently on 640 videos. And bear in mind that Mustard's been going 2 years longer than me. But I'm whacking the videos out now, willy-nilly. You know, there are days now when I'm putting out 5 videos a day, if you include shorts and a live stream. And I'm trying to do an absolute minimum of 3. So, you know, there'll be a daily diary going out. There'll be the 1919 video, the evening video going out for everybody. And there'll be a live stream. And then possibly there'll be 1 or 2 shorts on top of that. So trying to do between 3 and 5 a day on the basis that, as I'm in a building phase, Mustard has done all of that. Mustard has built a loyal audience that watch all of his videos. I'm nowhere near having done that yet. I've got you guys, I've got my inner scrotum, I've got my core, but I'm still trying to build on that. So I'm just trying to shove loads of stuff out there on the basis that if you throw enough mud at the walls, some will stick. And your subscriber count will increase. And of those increased subscribers, some will become like really loyal community members, and they'll help build the community, and they'll be great, and they'll be good for views. So I'm doing shed loads of videos at the moment, and I confidently predict that before too long, because Mustard slowed down a bit, hasn't he? He always used to put 1 out a day. Always used to put 1 out a day, and was on record many times about saying he felt guilty if he didn't. And now he's doing like 4 a week. So I'm going to catch him up on that, and I'm going to catch him up fairly quickly, I would say. But then the other ones, the ones that matter, views, watch hours, and revenue, he's still more than double me. So it's going to be a year before I get anywhere near him on those stats. He's worked hard to build an amazing base, viewer base, whatever you want to call it. And they're really paying off for him. I mean, he can put any old video up there now and it'll get 1,000 views overnight, within 12 hours. Unless it's got me on it, in which case it'll only get 500 and he'll lose subscribers. That's true. We've been talking about this for a few weeks, and that's why I need to talk to you tomorrow about what we're planning on doing with joint stuff. Every time I appear on one of Mustard's videos or a live stream, he loses subscribers and I gain them. A huge part of his viewer base absolutely hate me. Oh dear. Oh yeah, Simon's in favour of a catch-up. No, I'd love that, mate. Yeah, no pressure kind of thing, but just catching up would be cool. Maybe we'll do it at a show, now that I am apparently coming to shows. If not, it would just be cool to meet up and have lunch, maybe do a video, but just catch up basically. Sounds Vintage says, I've been enjoying your back catalogue for the last week. Great work. Oh, bless you. That's very kind. Oh, Safeway. Oh, I see. I've just figured out. Right, I've just figured that out. Yeah. Right, yeah. Major shareholder of Safeway Supermarkets PLC. Took a minute for that to click. Now it makes sense why those are popping up on older videos. Oh, well, thank you very much. Quantity over quality, asked Pingu. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, that's my only option. I can't do quality, or at least not yet. I can do quantity, so work with your strengths. I can't make good videos, but I can make a lot of them. So, so do what you can. Paul Smortion says, sharing my bath with Boaty. May I say the tide is high. Yes, I'm fat. Yeah, well, I'm with you on that one. Benzo's practically squished to expiration by the rogue left plum. Must be emergency pants again. Thank God the plum situation is okay. I'm back in my proper pants. Pingu likes Simon's new branding. And Pingu says it must be time for Boaty's bath time live soon. You know I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to bugger off. It's 20 to 1. Somebody has just pinged me. Oh, it's Simon. Cool. No, don't apologise for the ping. I may not answer it tonight. I've got a load of pings to answer. And I'm really hungry. And I've got stuff to do. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I'm going to let all of you nice people go to bed now. Bless you. Bless you for bearing with me. I know this has been one of those live streams where I've rattled on virtually ceaselessly. I'm just in that kind of mood. Now, last night, I really wasn't. Last night, I was tired. I wasn't feeling it so much. And last night was one of those nights where I would have just happily read out your comments. I was up to date with the comments. I could have done with more of them, to be honest. Whereas tonight, and this is the reason, I've just rattled on, haven't I? I'm so sorry. But I've enjoyed it. Right, come on, let's all go to bed. I love that thing. I love that drunken thing. When you're with your missus or you're with your mates and you've reached that point of drunkenness and you've gone past everything that's sensible. And then at some point you just say, oh, let's all just go to bed. And you all just kind of forget about all nice decency and you all just fall asleep somewhere and think we'll worry about the rest of it in the morning. I love that feeling. Jolly good. Yes, everybody's saying good night. That's the way. Say your good nights, my darlings. And this has been great. I've loved it. Oh, go to bed. Oh, I've got to cook. I've got to cook after this. Have some farts. Oh, that's not right. That was not supposed to happen. Let's try again. Here we go. There you go. I've missed you too, Pingu. Thank you, darlings. I've really enjoyed tonight. I'm sorry I went on too long, and I'm sorry I didn't shut up for long enough. Welcome back, Pingu. I've really missed you too. And thank you, everybody, for making tonight as wonderful as they all are. Shut up, Boaty. Go to bed. Yes. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll shut up. Let's all go to bed. Take great care of yourselves. Have a safe and peaceful night. Much love to you all. Have the best day that you possibly can tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you next night, darlings. Next night? I can't wait to see you next time or tomorrow night. Pick one of the above. Sleep tight. Bye-bye.